Hello, everyone. Welcome to our series of webinars. My name is Brad. I am the Storyly Engagement Manager. And today with me in this session, we have Alper from our technical team.
Hi guys, I'm Alper. I'm the developer evangelist in Storyly. We will be guiding you through the interactive audiences today with Brett.
Perfect. Thank you, Alper. And today's agenda, as Alper mentioned, it will be a discussion around the interactive audience feature. Now, we can start off by saying or by asking, what is an audience by interactive? Now, in the Storyly Studio, there is an option for all of our clients to include interactive stickers within their stories. So these includes polls, quizzes, and emoji ratings, emoji sliders, and so on. And each of those interactive stickers provide our clients with responses from their users. Now, those responses can be found actually in the analytics section of the platform as well. Now, with all of these interactives, we have seen quite a huge boost in engagement rates, let's say across the polls and the quizzes, for example. We've seen polls with 40% response rates and also quizzes with 50% response rate as well. And also there's been higher rates in CTR as well. So you can use the interactive stickers for remarketing activities on both the stories and also on other platforms that our clients do use as well, thanks to the integrations that we have available in the platform. And our clients can use these interactive stickers to primarily collect zero-party data across the stories that they are creating, which nowadays is very essential for our users, for our clients to collect that data back and reuse that data to retarget their users. And also turning on responses into audiences to use it in stories again. So that way it will allow the clients to kind of collect that user data that they are looking for from their customers as well. So why should everybody care about the audience builder in the studio?
Thank you for the introduction, Brett. As we all know, like industry is shifting heavily towards data privacy. And from Apple and Google, every day we hear a new data privacy centric improvements on their side. For instance, Google announced that Chrome will be removing third-party cookies in 2024. And Apple has already came up with the ATT and everything on the application side. I think this shifts in the industry. You need to somehow find new ways to get the zero-party data from your users, because every day it gets harder to get the information from the user itself, because these parties are making sharing like these information harder for users. Companies would like to control the data that they keep for the user. That's why we need to find some ways to lean on to zero-party data.
Albert, this is not a new thing, because I remember in my previous roles, this was announced, like I think it was back in 2017 or 2018 that Google was removing all the cookies from their websites or due to privacy regulations especially around the EU as well. It's a good thing that now companies like Storyly, right, we're providing clients with an alternative way of collecting that data. And it's the users themselves are willingly giving the clients that data through their stories as well.
Yeah, that's true. Google postponed it for a few years, but it's coming. It's coming, Brett.
Certainly. And if we're talking about the importance of gathering zero-party data, we can also link this in terms of what's going on around the industry as well. So for example, through different surveys that's been around the industry, 80% of the frequent shoppers only shop with brands that personalize the experience. And in order to personalize a user's experience, you need to gather that zero-party data from them in order to custom make or shape the content around the customer's needs. And you need the customers to tell you exactly what those needs are. And the best way to collect those needs, or the best way to collect that type of data, is through zero-party data collection. So this is where stories they become really important as well. And also 56% of the online shoppers are more likely to return to a website that recommends products. So for example, many of our users or our clients that uses Storyly, they always recommend products across their stories. And that way they also get that type of feedback from their clients as well. If they recommend something, and they might leave like a little survey there or a little quiz, which you ask the customers, like, what do you think about the products, or which other products would you like to see? So that's one way to also recommend other products to users as well. And also 85% of the marketing firm respondents said that zero-party data is critical to basically creating effective personalized experience. And that's actually true, because obviously the way that users are consuming data nowadays, especially through short form videos, for example, making those customized to a client, or making a specific story customized, or contents, let's say, customized to a specific user, has a really huge impact on that as well. And as well, and another reason zero-party data is really important is because 42% of the companies in the industry have admitted that they actually don't know how to use zero-party data effectively, according to a study. So that's also one area that can be explored a bit further as well, to find out the reasons for those. Because obviously we have already established that zero-party data becomes really important in terms of retargeting users, providing a personalized experience with the products that you are offering to your users, and also making sure that users, in terms of them providing you with the basic needs around the products that you're offering them. So it's a really good idea to dive into that more in order to find out the reasons why many of us don't know how to use zero-party data, because it seems so important nowadays as well in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
Now, we're just going to quickly step into the Story dashboard to basically have a quick demo, and I'll show you guys how you can actually create audience by interactive. So if I quickly share my screen. Now, this is the Story dashboard. And when you go into the content section here, this is where you have your content. And I've briefly prepared a simple content here just to give as an example. So let's pretend I am from a beauty company, and my goal today is to create audience out of the interactives that I've been showing to my users on the stories. So if I click into this story here, and this is basically an example of what my users have already seen, and they have selected each of the answers on this poll, let's say, and also they have also selected the product that they would like in this story as well. So if we just give you a little quick preview, you'll see how that will look like in the story environment on web, and then users can click on the answer that they would like to select here, and so on. Perfect. And then, so in order for us to find those results, we need to go into the analytics section of the dashboard here. And under the interaction, here's where you have the results from the stories, from the interactives that the user selected. So for example, with the quiz, you can see that one user selected the type of skin that they have. And if I wanted to create an interactive out of this, I can basically just hover over any of these responses, and then I can click on Create Instant Audience here. And here I can select the story group itself. Here you have the story, and then here you have the interactive that is on the story. And here you will select the response that you want to use to group users into a specific group of audience that you want to create. So all the users that selected the top image, for example, I will click on that emoji sign there, and then I will name my interactive. So audience 8, let's say, and then I will click Create Audience. Now, another step here that will involve you guys passing us the custom parameters on the SDK side. So basically, that's a quick step that your development team, that my development team will have to do in order to make sure that I have the data for all of my users in place in order to make sure that they are targeted correctly. So here, after I do that step, I can go back into the content section. I can click on New Story Group and create a new story group. And once I fill out all the needed information here under the audience, I will basically select the audience that I have created. And I can find it here, audience 8. And then I can click Create. And once I click create, I create my stories, and these stories will be in response to the option that my users selected in the last story. So if they selected the top image, then I will use that to provide more information on that product and possibly also sell that product to them in this new story that I'm going to be providing. So it's a very quick way to segment your users right in the dashboard and then retarget them with some new content that you want to show the users as well. And once I click create, only those users that selected the top image, for example, will be able to see the new story group with all of the new stories in them as well.
So this audience is dynamic. It continues to be filled for 30 days. So as long as your story group is active, even though newcomers select new options, these audience updated real time so that you can collect all of the user information without missing any one of it. Also, I would like to emphasize the SDK integration part because it's crucial. Since Story doesn't have access to any user data, we don't know who the user is actually. So in order to identify this, we need app owner to pass us an identifier via custom parameter. That's the topic that Brad mentioned earlier. For each user, if you pass us an identifier via a custom parameter, you will be seeing these IDs in the list that you created as an audience, as an interactive audience later on.
And Alper, do clients only have to pass that once to the Storyly SDK, right? Or do they have to do it over and over again?
Yes, only one
Just
time
once. Okay,
integration.
that's perfect then. Yeah. That's like we mentioned earlier, this is basically part one of the webinar in the series. We will be following up with the next webinar, which will be a part two, phase two, let's say, and that will be covering other aspects of Audience by Interactive. For example, other integrations that you can use to pull the data into the Story dashboard, and also how you can take the data out of these interactives into your own third-party analytics tool to track the activities on your side as well. So that's also totally possible. And that will be covered in the next phase of our webinar as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye-bye.